David Starkley.
This is a fascinating instance, isn't it, of the war between heart and head. It is perfectly clear that to cut the 50% rate of tax at the moment looks wrong. And everybody with a heart, which John notoriously doesn't have, understands that. And remember, he was beamed in from outer space, so he's completely inhuman. On the other hand, of course...
You don't have to insult a panellist to win an argument.
I'm flattering him. I regard
Well, please tell me when you're going to insult me.
I regard the great problem of British politics, as exemplified by Labour and the Lib Dems, as an absolute slushy, mindless sentimentality that refuses to think. We're in a position, because of the complete wreckage of the public finances left by Labour, that we have to increase tax revenue. There is no way round that. The issue is how we do it without destroying the economy and with also getting the economy moving again. Not little posturing like somebody who should be ashamed if she's Shadow Chief Secretary of the Treasury of this cheap posturing. Now, we have had an experiment...
Sorry, David, there's nothing cheap about saying that you would prioritise ordinary families over the top 1%. That's not cheap. That's just making a realistic priority.
No, it's not, because what you're doing is you're proposing to reduce the tax take by lifting those families and those little businesses out. Let us address the real question, which is how we increase it. We had a controlled experiment. The last long period of Labour government in the country before New Labour took tax rates up to 98%. They were then cut by the great reforming Chancellor, Nigel Lawson, whereupon the tax take from the rich at times virtually doubled. Now, sorry, this is the head. I know ladies like the heart, but John and I, both heartless, can actually decide that the head must rule.
Okay. Woman up there. Woman up there in the middle at the back.
Putting aside your opinions on women...
oh, don't, please!
I can think of a good way that we can get more from tax without changing the rate, and that's to crack down on tax avoidance by large companies.
Okay. And the man in the middle, you said that.
Can we make an agreement at the outset, please? We'll leave the propaganda and party posturing about the ruination of the economy with the last government at the door, not on the table. I'm sorry.
Why?
Okay.
Why?
Because of that is exactly what it is. Propaganda.
No, it's not. It's fact. And if you can't recognise fact, you shouldn't be at a programme like this.
You don't like it. You don't like the propaganda comment.
Why do you have the insolence to think that your opinion is better than anybody else's?
Where is yours?
Why can't you argue a case?
You want to talk?
Argue a case. No, I argue a case. He's not doing. He's just sort of coming in rather like a preacher, waving down the tablets of the law. I'm bored of Moses. No, there were lots of Moses in this place.
David, you're the one that's just insulted half the women in the room.
I was just doing a quick.
Oh, just two of us.
Both of you are adopting exactly the same.
No, actually,
it's not the same to you.
David Starkey, he was simply saying that it is political posturing to go on and on about who's responsible for this.
It's vital that we understand what's happening.
Let me bring in Clark Carlisle. I'll come to you, Joe. Clark Carlisle.
Can I just come back on?
Very briefly, Joe, because I want to move on. We've got a lot of questions here.
Regardless of the sexism, which I have to say, David, does you no credit, nor does it help your argument. Actually, I'm arguing something very different to what Rachel is saying. Because, again, want to talk. What I'm arguing is not for unfunded tax cuts like the Labour Party. The Liberal Democrats are saying cut taxes for hard-working families by increasing the taxes on the wealthiest in society. And there are a range of ways of doing that. It's not that the 50p rate is sacred. We're already getting £7 billion extra in through cutting down on tax avoidance, £2.5 billion extra from the banks, and we need to look at other ways of doing this. And I think the Treasury review to see the best ways that we can make sure the wealthiest in society pay their fair share is what we need to do. It's a fairer tax system that's important, so we help people in low incomes and the wealthier people pay more.
No, you can't. No, you can't. I'm sure you'll have plenty of time to make all the points you want, but I want to go on because it's done a quarter of an hour so far. We've only done one question.